Pyramid Lake, right off of Highway 20. The parking lot is on the other side. And right off the bat, you start with nice scenery. Look at that beautiful flowing creek. I have Bjorn and Charlie, and Betta's got Remy. Wow, beautiful. Instant temperature drop too. Well, right off the bat, there's Highway 20 right down there. So right off the bat, we had a lot of elevation gain. Nice big steps like this, but it's a beautiful scenery so far. I'm loving the rustic look here. Kind of reminds me of if you ever played the first Red Dead, when you get to the grizzly bear country, this is what it kind of reminds me of right off the bat. And I didn't take any good photos of them because the sun was in her face, but we did have a young nanny and her baby walk right out in front of us. And I always enjoy seeing mountain goats. They're one of my favorite animals, and there's a lot of them in this area. It's just, you gotta be in the right time at the right place. And here's more of these steps that we got to get up. A lot of elevation gain right off the bat. And my dogs are tired because they've been running back and forth in the vehicle the entire 2-hour drive out here. And it's never a dull moment hiking with a lab on leash. They constantly, one wraps around you and the other one's pulling, and then they take turns. They're like, okay, it's your turn to annoy Dad. It's just beautiful open scenery. We're not even that far into the trail, but I'm enjoying it. It's kind of looks like the conversion zone of where western and eastern Washington merge. It's like just open enough like eastern Washington, but still green like western Washington. Hopefully this area doesn't have the ticks like eastern Washington does. I'm not sporting trekking poles right now. I've got a yellow lab that's pulling me up the hill with extreme vigor. He thinks we're grouse hunting. Poor guy. Hopefully we see a bear in all this openness here. Or some more mountain goats like we saw running across the road. So we're at 0.8 of a mile, and I believe it's a little over 2 miles to the lake. But there is a lot of steps like this that are a little high, and I'll demonstrate how high they are. A little bit of knee burning. Not too much, but there is a lot of this coming up. There's probably some more. So just be mindful of that if you have a medical condition or this is your first time hike. This probably isn't the hike for you. So we're 0.9 miles in. Started a little bit of a descent. I don't know if it will continue, but there is lots of running water, at least in the spring here. Dogs had a chance to jump in, get wet, drink, jump back in. Of course, they're labs, why wouldn't they? But it's nice to know that there's a water source 0.9 miles in, so if you forget your water or if you drink it all up at the top and come back, you'll have water. At the 1.7 mark is the first actual water crossing. It's nothing major. I mean, it's barely wider than my dog. I'm presuming it's probably seasonal as well. And it's been mostly an uphill, just like this. Not too steep, but not too comfortable either. And I believe we're half a mile to the lake. So looking forward to that, sitting down, having a nice meal. And every time we stop, the mosquitoes are around. So definitely bring your bug spray if you come out here. Make sure you lather up pretty good. They're eating my hands alive because that's the one spot I didn't cover. Coming up a really steep incline here. But it's beautiful. It's open. And I wonder if the lake is right up there. I can see an opening through the trees. You find a steep incline, you use dog power. All right, Remy, get him up. Look at that. Pulls you right up the hill. All right, we just crested over the top and we are officially getting close to Pyramid Lake. Another bucket list. Slow, Remy. Another bucket list lake taken off the list. All right, so here is Pyramid Lake. It is a smaller lake, but it's on the bucket list. I expected it to be a little larger than this, but it's not too large. It looks deep though. Here's the embankment, and then it just drops off and you can't see down in there. And then there's some floating logs that created some ecosystems there. I'm sure the frogs love. The lake itself, from what we saw on the internet, there's no fishing allowed. It's under scientific study. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Maybe one of the viewers in the comment section can explain that. Haven't seen any surface activity, and with the amount of mosquitoes flying around, I figure if there was fish in here, they'd be happily near the surface. It's pretty. It's got its own pretty. I like the rocks here, the rock wall, the rock slides, and then walking up through pretty much mostly rock for the last mile. Just scenic. And it literally reminds me of the Red Dead area in the first game where the grizzly bears were and the buffalo. That's what this area kind of reminds me of. And then we have a mountaintop up there. Which one? Pyramid Peak. And that's Pyramid Peak right there, which does look like a pyramid. And we went by a couple mountaineers that are going to go scale one of these peaks. They had tons of gear on them. Kudos to them. It looked heavy. All right, so here's a higher view of Pyramid Lake, and then this is the trail that goes up to the peaks. We're gonna eat lunch here and then turn around and head back. Bed is down there about 300 feet below me, but she's gonna come up and join us for lunch. We just want to do a photo. But it's a pretty little lake. It's obviously really deep, but there's two types of dogs in the world. Those that when they're tied up, they keep their leash nice and relaxed and they enjoy the break. And then there's those that strangle themselves the entire time. Hey, buddy. Hey. We're about to have ourselves a brunch of chicken pesto pasta. All right, so we're at Pyramid Lake at the base of Pyramid Peak behind us, and it was a simple, easy hike today. 2.2 miles exactly to the base of the lake. Where we're at now is 2.4 miles, which is a nice little flat area. Overlooks the lake, which is the size of a pond, and this is a unofficial trail that goes past this. This is the Mountaineer Trail where they go to climb the peaks. I'm not sure exactly which ones they are. So this is my setup that I have for here. This lake, from what we see online, there's no fishing allowed. It's under scientific review or scientific study. I can't remember exact verbiage, but so we didn't bring the pack raft, the oars, or any of the fishing kits. Today my pack weight was 17, I want to say 17, almost 18 pounds. So we'll call it 18 pounds. And this is the setup I have. I came out here with a full Nalgene bottle. This one always has electrolytes, and then this one here had cold water in it. We ended up using it for the cooking and for the coffee. And then I have a Gregory 45 pack that I use as a day pack. I know it can be used as an overnight pack as well, but usually because I'm running fishing gear, I need the extra room. So I consider this a day pack for myself, for my own personal needs. I always bring a SteriPen for water filtration, and then my bathroom kit, I bring paper towels, dude wipes, baby powder, hand sanitizer, and then I also bring a small foldable shovel for digging a hole, because no one wants to see your business, right? I know I don't want you to see my business, and you definitely don't want to see my business. And then for my first aid kit, I have emergency matches. I always have a lighter, paracord, compass, whistle, because if you're out of breath, it's harder to yell, but it's pretty easy to blow on a whistle. Sorry about the dogs. I carry a pyro lighter that's battery operated, and I have some gel in there that will light even if it's wet. I have a glow stick for signaling, a Sawyer Life straw for drinking water, an emergency shelter. I got a hand warmer set and toe warmers, an emergency blanket, and then I have a ultralight watertight medical kit, single person. And each one of us usually carries a very similar setup in our pack. Coffee cup, because I don't want to go to prison. And then I usually carry some instant coffee and some electrolytes that I'll mix in with my water. This is the return trip setup here. Oh, this came out of my emergency kit. I have the flint and steel as well. I'm a little paranoid about the fire making capabilities. That's one thing that could be life or death, so I make sure to carry a little extra weight. I'm glad to carry the extra weight for that. Bug net, keep one of these in each one of my bags. Trekking poles, which I haven't needed today because Bjorn and my other dogs have been pulling me up the hill. And then I carry one of the Go Hunt sporks. It's long enough just for the bags, and then that way I don't have to take a bunch of plates or bowls up. I just use this and eat straight out of the bag of the dehydrated food. I brought a collapsible water dish for the dogs. Normally they carry it on their own with a vest, but we're having a bit of a heat increase right now, and I don't want my dogs to overheat, so I'll carry the bowl. Of course, my 1 pound stool. I love this thing, and it's great to sit on after a long hike. Bear spray. And then I have a rain jacket just in case I get cold to cut back on the wind, or a chance we get a sideways storm that comes in. And that's my pack. Sorry about the background noise. I've got dogs that don't understand why they're tied up to a tree at the moment. So we're coming down, Betta's right there with Charlie. The steepest part of the trail, which is the beginning or the end, depending which way you're looking at it. Trailhead's right down there across the road, Highway 20. As you can see, we still got a bit of a descent, and it's a lot right off the bat. So don't let the beginning part of the trail make that judgment call for you. It gets easier. It's still uphill almost the entire way to the lake, but it gets a lot easier. It's just this first quarter mile will put the burner on you. Hey, if you hit that like and subscribe button, if you want to see more content like this, hit it. You'll get notifications.